Look what I just found. Woohoo, that is a huge puffball. Look at that, there's more of the Inoki. This is definitely looking like an agaric. When I pull it up, I mean, it's really a cool looking mushroom. Look what I just found. Woohoo, that is a huge puffball. It's not monster, but it's definitely not the small stuff I've been finding lately. This is something else. Clavitica. Can't remember for sure what they call this thing. I don't find enough of them to remember, but that's an awesome little puffball. All right, so there it is. You can see it's about softball size, and this, I'm at a lower elevation right now. I'm at about 7,500, 7,600 feet in elevation, maybe even a little bit lower than that. Maybe like closer to 72 actually. And that's one of the advantages of going down. You get a different kind of mushroom that you find. I don't know if I'm going to find Boletus atlas. I'm hoping for a Boletus burroughsi today. But look at that. There's a puffball. I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half and see what it looks like inside. Okay, let's see what this looks like inside. Definitely a giant puffball. Smaller one. It's not huge, but this is the kind that grows quite large, and it looks like it's just perfect inside. You can see that the Suillus Lecae are definitely in the area. I've passed by a few that I didn't video too. They are definitely in this area. Here's a good sized one right there. Okay, we've got a little interesting mushroom right here. Look at that. See how it's growing in a clump like that? Look at the top of that. So this mushroom, it's got a little bit of a slimy top. Look how it's growing out in clumps like that. This is a variety you can actually get in the store and in like Asian stores. This is called an Inoki. So you can tell by the way that stem looks as well. I believe that's what it is. And this is an edible. I think I might save this one. But yeah, I believe that. The other, some people here in Utah call it the Flammula vepites, I believe it is. So I'll have to double check that one, but I believe that's what it is. So that should actually be a good eater. This is normally one that I'd look at and say, I don't want to eat, but this particular variety, I believe, is a great eating mushroom. Well, I just came across some oysters. It's kind of fun. Look at that. There's more of the Inoki, the Flammula vepites. Oh, this area has a lot of them. You see them growing out of that tree right there. There's a few small ones right there. Oh, and look at those oysters. There's some nice oysters there. And here's a good chunk. Look at those Flammula vepites right there. The Inoki. Awesome. They're grapevines. There is another Suillus Lecae. As you can see, there's a little bit of bruising on it. That is an edible, but with the bruising, that is more likely to hurt your tummy. I certainly am not interested in this to eat. Some people like eating these Suillus Lecaes, though. Look what I found here. All right, if you guys saw my last video, you know what this is. That is a Phylliota squarosus. Phylliota squarosa. They do often grow in clumps. You can see there's 3 more growing from right there. Again, this is a mushroom that some people do eat, but if you do your research online, most people say don't eat it. And I know at least one person here in Utah 1 or 2 years ago ate some of those and ended up on the bathroom floor all night throwing up in the toilet. So if you're going to eat that, eat it with caution. Be careful. Phylliota squarosus. You can see how they have those scales all over them. Sorry, my video is just not focusing very well, but there you go. You can kind of see that all the way up there and on the cap. All right, so I just came upon all these mushrooms. Look at those. From the first look, it looks like it could be an Agaric or possibly an Amanita. And when I take a closer look, I can see some of that scaling on the top. That is very typical for Amanita. So this is going to be an Amanita. Super white gills. There you go. See that? You can see this has got a nice strong vulva there. And you got the white gills. These are all Amanitas. You don't want to touch these. But these are super pretty mushrooms. Holy heck. See, look at that one there. You can see why people would mistake it for a puffball. There's a couple others here I had too that I want to point out. See, like, look at this one. Look how that looks. When I pull it up, I mean, it's really a cool looking mushroom. But that is definitely one you do not want to eat. Leave those alone. And I notice there's quite a few here. You see, you got one there. You got a patch of them right there. You got one right there. There's another one right here. They're all over the place up here. I come over to this area and there's a bunch more of them. See that? These are all Amanitas. Now, just to remind you again, these Amanitas have a pretty serious toxin in them. And I mean, if you ate these, there's a decent chance that, I mean, if you ate this whole thing for sure, I would expect that you might end up needing some kind of a liver transplant here in the next week. And if it kills you, if this happens to be one of the varieties that can kill you, then it's a slow, painful death. Takes you about a week to die, is what I hear. Can happen sooner than that, but it's miserable. And you know, I don't know if this is a death cap or not. I posted something a little bit different than this and said it could be a death cap, and had some guy jumping on and saying it wasn't because of the scaling on the top. But I know that there are death caps that have the scaling as well. So, and a lot of them are very smooth. So I'm not ready to make a analysis based on that. Again, my recommendation is just to stay away from them altogether. Okay, so there's these two that are here. Let's take a look and see what these are. These don't look like those Amanitas. It looks like this one truly could be an Agaric. Oh yeah. This is definitely looking like an Agaric. Let's make sure it's not going to be a yellow stainer. Okay, so just so you know, understand the difference. These are pure white. It doesn't have the specks along the top. It doesn't have the vulva. It doesn't have those trademarks of a Amanita. But that was rotten. These are probably going to be filled with worms, unfortunately. But if I cut it in half, there you go. It is 100% an Agaric mushroom. All right, and you can see the coloration there. They're still kind of gray. I'd like them to be a little pinker or a little browner. But this should be a good edible. And I don't see any yellow staining. I'm going to get rid of all that bottom area. there is some worms in this. This younger one probably, I'm hoping will be better. A little bit. Yeah, definitely some worms in there, but this is a little bit better. I'm excited to find something like that up here. Upon further analysis, you see that little bit of yellow there? There's a little bit on there. It's not a whole lot, but I smelled the mushroom. And it does not smell mushroomy like I like it to be. It actually smells a little bit chemically. Doesn't smell good to me. So I've decided to pass on this mushroom. Got to be a little bit careful with these agarics that are showing signs of the kind that will upset your tummy. I mean, there's not a lot of yellow staining there, but it doesn't smell right. And again, you have the kind of the grayish gills. They're not as pink or pink to brown as I like. So I'm decided I'm actually going to pass on this one. But still, fun mushroom. Look how big that thing was. Okay, so there's these two that are here. Let's take a look and see what these are. These don't look like those Amanitas. It looks like this one truly could be an Agaric. Oh yeah. This is definitely looking like an Agaric. Let's make sure it's not going to be a yellow stainer.